Chapter 138. Heart of an Emperor. Boom. Tilt 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 tilt. The Earth Dragon vein blew itself apart with a loud bang, and 90% of the dragon vein's body was swallowed into Liu Yang's Earth Dragon vein. And at this moment, when it suddenly blew itself up, Liu Yang's Earth Dragon vein naturally bore the brunt of it. No, Liu Yang hissed up in shock and anger, but the explosion had already started, and nothing could be undone. The big explosion was even more terrifying than the previous battle, and the huge impact nearly lifted the distant Foal God city off the ground. In an instant, countless mountains and rocks exploded into the sky. As if it was the end of the world, the sky was dark, and all that was left in the heavens and earth was endless dirt and rocks, pitch black. Your Majesty, in the Lushen city, no matter the officials, the people all knelt down and cried out. This destructive explosion radiated even further into the distance. The other 11 cities of the Divine Foothills, Imperial Dynasty, all felt the tremor to a greater or lesser extent. What happened? It's coming from the direction of Divine Foothill City. It can't be the battle in Divine Foothill City, right? Impossible. How could it radiate so far? What happened in Foal God City? How is the Emperor doing? The people of the various cities revealed a look of anxiety. However, the separation was too far away, and no one knew what had happened in Foal Divine City. Steeply, a voice came through the Qi Yun Sea. Just a moment ago, Huang Fu Chao stepped on the Earth Dragon vein and was swallowed by Liu Yang's Earth Dragon vein. Huang Fu Chao ended up blowing himself up with the Earth Dragon vein in the hope of destroying Liu Yang and returning stability to the world. And Huang Fu Chao was martyred with his body. Gu Hai's voice came out. Wow. The people of the 11 cities were in an uproar. Impossible. It's impossible for the Emperor to die. Emperor, Your Majesty, you can't die. The old man has been blessed by the Emperor's heavenly grace and has yet to repay. Your Majesty. Huang Fu Chao was martyred. The nation mourned, and countless people instantly knelt down towards the direction of Foshen City, crying bitterly, unwilling to accept this fact. Outside of Foshen City, in the darkness of the sky, the people were crying. The sky was full of earth and rocks, eventually falling slowly. The sky slowly brightened up, but the people knelt down. Smoke and dust slowly falling, slowly dispersed. Outside the city is full of ruins of earth and stone. Lushen City seems to be buried in the earth and stone in general. The smoke and dust became less and less, gradually seeing that one battlefield. Huang Fu Chao's Earth Dragon vein was blown away, and Huang Fu Chao was also dead. The power of that big explosion was too terrifying. The Earth Dragon vein under Liu Yang's feet was subjected to the most violent impact, and at this moment, his body was also riddled with holes, and he was limp on the ground. His body was bubbling with golden breath. It seemed to be dying. King Liu Yang before a dragon robe, but now also tattered, cloaked hair, face pale. There was blood on his chest, but it was stained with dirt, and it was exceptionally wretched. Poof, pa. Liu Yang spat out blood several times in a row. Obviously his injuries were not light. However, in the end, Liu Yang survived, and Huang Fu Chao was pulverized. Cough, cough, cough. Huang Fu Chao, you deserve to die, Liu Yang weakly said in a hateful voice. In his weakness, Liu Yang did not forget about his great revenge, and his eyes showed ice coldness as he looked towards the Foothill God City. Gu Hai, it's your turn now, Liu Yang said with a grimace on his face. Gu Hai's eyes showed ice coldness as he spoke once again. Great Han Dynasty's people. The Qi Luck has just arrived at Foshen City, but unfortunately, Huang Fu Chao has been pulverized and died without a whole body. I want to avenge this monstrous revenge for Huang Fu Chao, but I am shallow in cultivation, so I implore the people of the Great Han Dynasty, except for those who are guarding the city, to raise their right hands, lend me their power, and help me to exterminate Lu Yong and avenge Huang Fu Chaoji. Boom! Gu Hai's voice, through the Qi Yun Sea, instantly traveled in all directions. Firstly, it was the 9-5 Islands. The people of the 9-5 Islands were all slightly stunned when they heard Gu Hai's voice. Raise your right hand, borrowing the Emperor's strength. Help the Emperor. What does it mean? Many people were unsure. However, some people raised their right hand to try. Just raised their right hand, steeply as if a suction force. The whole body strength suddenly sucked away along the raised arm. Gu, hell no. All my strength is gone. I have no strength. The person who raised his hand was paralyzed with horror. It's the Emperor. The Emperor borrowed your power away. So that's what it means. The Emperor wants to borrow our strength. Last year's catastrophe. If it wasn't for the Emperor, our whole family would have starved to death. Not only did the Emperor open the barn and release the grain, he also gave us land and seeds. The old man has been unable to repay us. Your Majesty, use my strength, old woman, my son, my grandson, raise your right hand. Your Majesty, use my power. The people of the 9 and 5 Islands raised their right hands, one after another, and a wave of power quickly surged towards the sea of Qi clouds of the foothill god city. In the Great Han Palace, Gu King quickly arranged for all the officials and guards to raise their right hands, except for some of the people guarding the palace array. Within a large hall, Meng Tai looked at the sky in shock. The Emperor is going to fight against King Lu Yong, really? Meng Tai slowly raised his right hand with a wave of incredulity. Others might not know who Lu Yong was, but Meng Tai knew best. That was an existence that he had looked up to in the past. The Lord of Yingju, the sworn brother of the great Jin sage, the strong man that Long Xiaoyu all respectfully worshipped in the past. Your Majesty had already fought face to face with Lu Yong in this short time of cultivation. Who are you? Meng Tai went limp, but in his heart, he recognized the Great Han Dynasty more and more. The Great Han Dynasty was developing too rapidly. What he had always wanted the most was to be in power, and now the Emperor had given him the noble right. So if he didn't work hard, how could he possibly afford to pursue it? After this battle, expand the Jinyue, Meng Tai was paralyzed on the ground, clenching his teeth. The power of the 9 and 5 Islands was rapidly converging, while the people of the 12 cities of the Divine Foothills Imperial Dynasty seemed to be immersed in sadness and unable to extricate themselves at the moment, for a moment, but very few people raised their hands. Gu Hai could see that from the direction of the 9-5 Islands. It was as if a golden power current suddenly surged into the sea of Qi cloud. Boom! Countless power from the 9-5 Islands rushed into Gu Hai's body. It was even more ferocious than the blood knives. And in an instant, Gu Hai's power skyrocketed countless times. A surging aura bulged out around him. The 9 and 5 Islands had a majority of mortals, but with a large population, the power was ultimately immense. In the distance, Lu Yang's face also changed as he stared blankly at the Qi flame around Gu Hai. This Qi flame, the power of the Yuanying realm, the power of the 5 infant realm. Ha 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 ha. But that's it. But that's it. Lu Yong lowered his heart and revealed a cold smile. Dragon come. Gu Hai let out a cold shout. Arm. There was a steep roar beneath the earth. Gu Hai's earth dragon vein suddenly appeared, holding Gu Hai up as it quickly swam up towards the outside of the city. Ancient Sea's earth dragon vein was no smaller than Huang Fu Chaoji's and was tens of thousands of miles long. Rumble. The Ancient Sea stepped on the dragon's head and slowly arrived in front of Lu Yong. Lu Yang's earth dragon vein was riddled with holes, scarred and dying, but it was still bigger than Gu Hai's. Lu Yong looked at Gu Hai coldly. Gu Hai, you finally dare to come and die. Ha 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 ha. King Lu Yong, your great Ying dynasty, destroyed. Gu Hai laughed out loud. It's still not thanks to you, HMPH. Today, I will use you to sacrifice my great Ying. Although Liu Yong was seriously injured, but there was still a sense of arrogance on his face. Even if Liu Yong was seriously injured, he was still at the strength of the heaven-opening palace, whereas Gu Hai had mobilized the power of a country, but he was only at the 5th infant realm. So even if he was seriously injured, he could still pinch him to death. Thanks to me, Liu Yong, you are also too deceitful, being so fearful and cowardly. You also want to start a country and establish a dynasty. Huang Fu Chaoj said that you are not worthy of being an emperor. You really are not worthy of being an emperor. Without me, sooner or later, you would have destroyed a country, Gu Hai coldly said. What did you say? Liu Yong looked at Gu Hai angrily. Isn't it? Your country was destroyed. Was it me alone? You have a bunch of enemies. Why did you pick me? Why didn't you go to King Shengwu's Zhenan army? You didn't dare, because you're inferior to him. Why didn't you go to Daewang Empire, which swallowed up a large part of your country? You wouldn't dare, because you're not as good as them. You're self-aware, because you can only come against me, because I'm only in the Jindan realm. Because you can only bully the Jindan realm only. Ha 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 ha. Bullying the soft and fearing the hard. Avoiding the strong and avoiding the weak. And you say that you still have the heart of an emperor. Gu Hai laughed coldly. Liu Yong steeply took a deep breath and angrily looked at Gu Hai. Kid, you think I'm Aoshan? 2 words from you and I'll fall for you. It's not 2 words that fooled me. Liu Yong, think for yourself. Long Shenwu, Daewon Imperial Dynasty. Do you dare to find trouble with them? You wouldn't dare, facing those stronger than you. You wimp out. You can only bully those weaker than you, just like me. Oh, but you know what? An emperor, first of all, must have a powerful ambition to open up the sky and the earth before you can do so. No matter if you face any strong person, any difficulty, an emperor will rise to the challenge, will go to conquer it, instead of running away from it. Do you have this ambition? Gu Hai said coldly. Liu Yang's eyelids fluttered furiously. His heart was so hard. The heart of an emperor. You don't have it. However, I do. So what if you, King Liu Yong? As long as I have ambition, I can trample you under my feet. Gu Hai coldly said. HMPH, come on then. Showing off your tongue will only make you more ignorant, Liu Yong said in a cold voice. Between his steps, Liu Yang's earth dragon vein swam with difficulty, seemingly about to rush towards Gu Hai. Gu Hai, however, suddenly laughed coldly. It's not that I'm ignorant, it's that you're ignorant. Liu Yong, you've lost. Liu Yong raised his eyebrows and looked towards Gu Hai in confusion. However, he saw that at this moment, the sea of Qi Luck clouds was tossing and turning, and another wave of power came from all directions, converging into the sea of Qi Luck clouds, and then quickly poured into Gu Hai's body. Rumble. This time, the power was countless times more than the previous one. However, it was the divine foothills, Imperial Dynasty's children, who came out of their grief and raised their right hands with boundless hatred. Gu Hai, no, Your Majesty, use my power to avenge Huang Fu Chaoj. Use my power to avenge the old emperor. Kill Liu Yong, and I'll lend you all my power. If I kill Liu Yong, I'll be a citizen of the great Han dynasty. In the 12 cities, all the people and officials raised their right hands, gritting their teeth and lending their whole body's power to Gu Hai. The process of borrowing power was also the process of formally acknowledging being a citizen of Great Han. Gu Hai transferred the power of a country and collected the hearts of a nation.